The views and opinions of the host and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good yawning this morning and welcome back to Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, station for fresh news, smart talk all day. It is Thursday, the 26th of September, 2024, and you are on the clock with Erin, Greene. On the clock, we have conversations that help us understand and navigate a rapidly changing Bahamas. And today, I have representatives from the Bahamas Alzheimer's Association on to talk with us about Alzheimer's Awareness Month, Alzheimer's Awareness Day, and a number of activities coming up for the month of September. Before we get there, I have to start the show by saying happy birthday to my good cousin, Anya Mitchell Charles. Now, when I say good cousin, I don't know if you all understand what it means to be in England, going on what felt like 85 months, from September to December. And my good cousin say, child, I hear you ain't going home to Nassau for Junkanoo. Come down to London, I could take care of you. And this is what she meant by take care of you. I arrived in London to a table of Johnny cake and stew snapper heads.
Nothing better than that.
Look at God.
Look at them.
And how he bring me my good cousin, Anya Charles.
Better than Junkanoo.
I telling you, stew fish in London. If I wasn't so busy talking to Eddie Minnis about my ganapes and raccoons, I had to tell him we need to write a song about that. Anyway, I also have to say happy birthday to my newest relative, Uncle Kendall Casey Campbell. His happy birthday comes from Kendanique Campbell Moss, a.k.a. IQ Kenny, a.k.a. the Saxon's greatest, a.k.a. the newest host on Guardian Radio, host of Kenny's Corner. And, of course, Anaya's granddaddy. Now, dear cousin Anaya, as Halloween approaches, I'd like to say thank you for allowing me to share your granddaddy, because I don't have a daddy or granddaddy. And my Uncle Stanley is busy daddying and granddaddying this time of year. So, Anaya, if you would allow me to say happy birthday to our granddaddy, Uncle Kendall Casey Campbell, I hope you're having a wonderful day. I just got one more little story to tell you all about how I tried to sneak a bottle of sea grape lemonade into the Guardian this morning.
Good catch.
And before I even make it inside the door, the bag break. Little did I know somebody caused that bag to break. Because when I walk into the lobby, there's 3 women in the lobby, all wearing sea grape. All wearing sea grape people this morning. It was them.
Look at God.
And so one of them spied my bottle coming from around the corner. And when I walked inside the room, let me tell y'all about subtlety, reading a room. Let me tell you all young people about being sharp.
Oh.
And I walked into the room. I didn't say anything. In fact, I pretended like I didn't see my guest because I wasn't prepared to. I saw the sea grape now. I saw the sea grape. And a beautiful voice from the corner said, "Oh, hi, Miss Greene. How you doing? I just been in so-and-so yard picking." She knew the sea grapes in the lemonade came from the yard she just been to. These, you gotta learn how to be sharp. These women have some wisdom. Wisdom, you can't just, see, it's in school, you know, but you can't just find it like in school. It don't come in the book, but you gotta be in school to learn it. And these women have that I know over the years have created an environment in which people, and in particular young people, could learn and be sharp and gather their wits. And you talk about what wits are. That's sharpness, that's common sense and book sense and street sense all wrap up together. Anyway, it was my pleasure to be chick-chanied this morning by some wonderful representatives from the Bahamas Alzheimer's Association. What a way to start the morning. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning. Good morning, Erin. Always good to be here with you.
Absolutely. It is a wonderful time. I'm glad you all are here today because as soon as I started telling my raccoon Ganep saga, people accuse me of slipping. They say, Erin, you're young, but you sound like you got old age. What you're talking about. So I hope you all are here today to make a distinction between Alzheimer's and dementia and what I have, which is no sense. And I think they are different conditions. But today we're going to learn a bit more about Alzheimer's disease and dementia and the work that the Bahamas Alzheimer's Association has taken on since we last spoke to them in February, and as we are presently in World Alzheimer's Awareness Month, the month of September. Good morning, ladies. Please introduce yourselves.
Okay, good morning. This is Wendy Poitier, and I am the president of the association. We have Paulette Davis, who is one of our founders and directors, and Ida Poitier, who is also a member. So,
Good morning.
Good morning, Bahamas.
Good morning. Now, please tell the people what Alzheimer's disease is and a brief description of the organization.
okay, I guess I'll start. Alzheimer's is a dementia disease, and we know dementia is basically a brain debilitating disease. Alzheimer's is the most prevalent dementia, but they have different types of dementia. They have the frontal lobal, they have vascular, Lewy body, but basically all of them deal with the brain degenerating, losing your memories, ability to reason, make decisions, proper decisions, those types of things. And Alzheimer's is the one that is the most prevalent, which accounts for more than 60% of all dementia diseases.
Now, when you say losing your memory, is it losing it or is it like losing track of it in the brain? Because sometimes it feels like when you're observing someone with dementia like an adult interact with their adult kids, it's as if they're in a world before their kids were born.
Correct, because you have that'll be at the early stages, of course, of it, where persons the short-term memories are not there. The long-term memories are more likely to be present, but those short-term ones. And then, of course, one of the things that they talk about is one of the signs would be persons who would have maybe run a company and now they're not able to balance their checkbook, or they make decisions, they're probably giving away all their money. Anybody come to ask them, they could give them the money and not realizing.
And in one instance, I saw a documentation of a neighbor taking advantage of someone with Alzheimer's, and every day they would say, hey, John, you remember the $20 you said you would lend me? And John would say, oh, yeah, I remember. Come on, I'm going to go grab it. Every single day.
And these are the things that family members you have to be aware of when you see these things happening, that you can be cognizant of, and you can be aware of, wait, something ain't happening right here with mommy, or something ain't right here with daddy. So we have to be cautious or be aware of what is happening. And also the importance, what we're trying to encourage is for persons to get their screenings the same way you get your annual checkup. You get a screening as well at the same time.
Let's stick a pin right there. Where can I go for screening? Now, I'm being very sensitive. Mrs. Leela Greene, I ain't taking you nowhere, okay? Because this is important. It's important for older family
But
members to trust.
and even if you were, there should not be a problem with that, because that's one of the things we're trying to encourage as well, is to get rid of that stigma
Right.
that is associated. Because if there were by chance, at least now, okay, I'm aware that something is happening, I will be able now to plan for the future.
That's what I'm thinking.
I could get my finances in order. I could get my estate in order. I could make sure I have somebody to make sure my bills are paid. I could make sure I have somebody watching that every 2 weeks or every week, I'm giving that $20 to John. Those types of things you can plan and you can be better prepared. And that is one of the things we're trying to encourage, to make sure that persons are aware. And you can, when you know, then you know what to do.
Now, before we get into details of the events coming up, one last thing. I grew up in a household with plenty cousins, so aunts and uncles, plenty cousins. And I realized this thing would happen where the aunt or the mother would forget the name of the person that they call in. And they call every name on the list until they get to the right one. Right? Now, is that a sign of Alzheimer's? Or
I think all of us do that.
yeah, okay.
Everyone.
All right, and then the last thing is, for some people, we are waiting to see a particular type of behavior as opposed to just observing that there has been a shift. Like people who are typically miserable, and then their attitude shifts to a sweeter attitude. We all like, oh, I'm so glad Auntie Ethel ease off and smooth out, but that may be a real indicator that something is wrong. Because, I mean, Auntie Ethel was miserable, but that's who she was, and we just love her the way she was. She don't have to be sweet, and sometimes we don't observe things that are pleasurable or comfortable to us, we don't observe as a potential issue. Okay, so testing and evaluation, where would I go to be tested?
Your family physician should be able to
Provide that.
provide those things for you, or gerontologists
Okay.
would be able to do those things. And one of the things that we also recognize that it is, as it is a brain degenerative disease, so you would have the medical physician, but then you also have the neurologist, or you would have the psychiatrist who might, because there are certain behaviors as well that are associated with. So it's a combination, but the early stages, of course, you're able to try and easily diagnose
Okay.
or to find out.
I would just
Right
like-
into the mic.
I would just like to add there that one of the things that we're really working on this year is to create a national dementia plan with the government. And so that's a whole part of it. We want the testing to become a part of what happens at your normal checkup. And we're encouraging the government to look at doing that with us.
Okay, now, yes, ma'am?
Okay, well, I'd just like to go back to what you were talking about, a family member who showing this sign or next sign. One of the things we have to realize with Alzheimer's, it's not really a disease of aging. Younger people can get it. And so the screening, and I think it's something that all of us should just have it done. At least if you're tested for cancer, then well, I have to do this, and this. Well, if I'm tested and I know I have
Or
all
predisposed,
set, right,
yeah.
I can now work towards sorting my life out.
Absolutely.
And start to change our lifestyle too. Because, here in the Bahamas, the comorbidities are rampant. High blood pressure, diabetes, and all of those are risk factors for dementia.
Absolutely. I saw in one of the articles that I found, there's lots of reading material available for people who are interested, was the types of things that can lead to experiencing Alzheimer's.
Risk factors.
Right, and
associated.
now you spoke to things, local concerns, right? And one of them was head injury, right? And we know head injuries can be easily, you can experience that just playing outside, kids playing on the bike with no helmet. We like wrestling and tossing and throwing, and a head injury. We do have some parts of the culture that do believe that you should beat good sense into a child, and sometimes we end up creating an environment where they cannot practice good sense due to brain damage and injury. What are some of the things, just quickly, that will lead could potentially lead to Alzheimer's?
Okay, well, we know that there are some of the risk factors, of course, that we can deal with. So those are things like, hey, hypertension, we talked about, the hypertension, diabetes,
Lack of physical activity.
Those types of things. But then there are also some other things that your individual might not necessarily have control over, like air pollution, lack of education, because they found out that if the less education, those persons are also at a risk for getting Alzheimer's or dementia. And so we ask then that governments and those persons who are in positions of authority make sure that you look at other environmental factors, like I said, like air pollution. Make sure that those things are in place so you're not placing your population in a situation where they would be exposed to these types of things. Making sure that education is available for your population so that you can do it. But those things that you do have control over, like physical inactivity, make sure you're keeping moving, interaction with others, not isolating yourself, socialization, becoming involved in things, groups, church, other activities, making sure you're keeping your diet properly, eating right, exercising,
nutrients and minerals, vitamins.
Right.
Okay.
One of the things also they said is hearing impairment as well. That is one of the risk factors. So persons who are hearing impaired, they're also at a risk for developing
Now,
Alzheimer's and dementia.
is playing brain games like Sudoku, crossword puzzles, teasing the children and getting them tasks to do, making them think, are those types of activities good to keep the brain healthy in an aim to prevent Alzheimer's disease?
It is. It's one of those. We say it's because, of course, we know there's no cure for Alzheimer's, but you're able to slow down the progression
yes.
of it. And like you said, playing those games, getting involved, learning another language, believe it or not, is also one of the things that persons can do to help activate and to keep the brain.
It's because it's like another level of thinking, right? Learning another language, because eventually in your head you're translating in between the two languages. That's real brain work, which is why we encourage parents to get their kids into multiple languages as early as possible.
Isn't that something? Yeah.
All right,
So-
the memory walk.
Oh, okay.
When will the memory walk take? Because I'm upset I missed the karaoke event. Because that's the point. That's the perfect place to say I forget the lyrics. It's a perfect place to get away with that. So we have the memory walk and health fair coming up.
Yes, that takes place this Saturday. It's going to be starting at 8 o'clock. Registration starts at 7:30.
Okay.
We're going to be going from Junkanoo Beach and taking that wonderful walk. We'll be using our flowers. We'll have cards where you can write the person that you're walking in memory of or the person that you're supporting.
Okay.
So people can really show who they're supporting.
Yeah.
And we'll be going down to Rawson Square and coming back. And then we do have a wonderful group of people that are setting up their booths and tables. Kalina is one of our wonderful sponsors.
Thank you, Kalina.
Yes, we really appreciate the support they've given us. And people, the different health booths will be set up to encourage what we need to be doing for our health.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm hoping.
And we also have the Ministry of Social Services who are supposed to be there as well. So they'll be able to give you information as to what you can do, the disability unit, and they'll be able to give information as well.
And I'm sure they'll be able to share resources for other elements of Alzheimer's care, like geriatric residential care, daycare services. Let's go to the
Which
phone.
we don't have enough of, by the way, but...
Without a doubt. Let's go to the phone line. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Ms. Greene.
Morning, sir.
I'm sorry to interrupt your show, but I'd like to congratulate the lady in there for mentioning the external factors such as environmental factors in playing a role in dementia. Now, me personally, I believe there are compounding factors, and I believe that brain health, exercising the brain, plays a greater role as one gets old and become more incapacitated. But one of the things I have learned in my time on Earth, and being very familiar with science, is that science does not keep still. And so years ago, doctors and scientists didn't know that the brain can generate new cells. Also, the liver can generate new cells. I think the process in the brain is called neurogenesis. And certain foods stimulate this, like blueberries. And certain foods high in antioxidants and phytochemicals, et cetera. And so maybe this would be a good research for the deep science venture or somebody to really move towards to, because, maybe I know there's such thing as irreversible brain damage, right? As we have seen with the experimentation with the electroshock therapy by the genius psychiatrist who really was lost for a period of time and just putting things in the DSM. But I just would like to hear what you think about that, because, I don't believe it's incurable. And I believe we are at a standstill. And so in Europe and first world countries, this is why they have banned diesel vehicles in inner city perimeters.
Okay, thank you. So Deep Science Venture is a PhD program that Dr. Thane Campbell, a Bahamian, is an integral part of, and they aim to provide resources to help people with ideas solve global problems, right? And as he was talking, I was thinking that's right, because sea grape, mulberry, governor's plum is another one. It's called body part. I can't even say the body part on air, but the old folk know what it is. All of these dark-skinned local berries, high in antioxidants. Perhaps a young person is prepared to step up and say, let's do some research.
And you heard Paulette talk earlier about the National Dementia Plan.
Yes.
One of the aspects of that is having local research.
Yes.
You have research. We can find out information about what happened in England. We know about Canada. We know about where other part in Europe. But our own local research is so important. Just as they did the research with cancer, and we found out about the BRCA gene here in the Bahamian women, we suspect that, of course, the Bahamas, the Bahamian population, may have something that is unique to us as well. But we have to have the research in place to find out and to know.
Absolutely.
And that is what the National Dementia Plan will assist with ensuring that you have your local research.
And the statistic that you've presented to us, that some 2,000 people are currently living,
which we suspect is, we suspect that there are more.
It's elevated, right?
Yeah,
it's underreported.
But because, underreporting more
Right.
so, yeah.
But that in 27 years, by the time we hit 2050, that number may triple to
Yes.
6,000 people. And so the implications are massive and detrimental to national development, to the point where I want to prompt to say, at next year's Memory Walk, we should be partnering with the university's Oral and Public History unit, because one of the dangers of Alzheimer's is that you lose your country's history, especially when we transfer history orally primarily, right? And then when we also entrenched in a culture of you keep some and you peep some.
There you go.
In an interest of saving people's dignity, you don't tell all of the story, and then sometimes it's too late. And we lose the truth that we all need to understand who we are. So let's go.
No, and I was just saying, just agreeing with you with that, because, of course, once we are able to, if persons, first of all, they get the early diagnosis, then they know, hey, this is something that is happening with me. You're able then to take the whatever medication or change your lifestyle or whatever. So persons, again, they can live longer where they can make contributions before you get to the middle and the latter stages.
Yes.
Because right now, of course, we know there is no cure.
Yes.
But at least if we're able to get the medication
And
or
slow down
change
the progression. Yeah.
then we're able to better live
However,
independently as long as possible.
One of the things I just like to point out there is the same way that it is a stigma for society, for the community. So families tend to not want to let people know. So they keep their loved one in the house. They don't want to take them out because they don't want people to know. We had a wonderful presentation on Saturday at our candlelight service, and it was shared that the person did not want to accept the problem, and that's where it has to begin, and that's also very difficult. So we have to remember as caregivers to be gentle with them, but that's where it starts.
Absolutely. So yes, ma'am.
But what we need to do is to look at Alzheimer's as a disease the same way we do like cancer and diabetes and all of that. And leave that stigma of, oh my God, alone. You bring your persons out. We had a purple party at St. Agnes, and it was for caregivers and persons living with Alzheimer's. It was a beautiful evening because we did all the music was old time, old school, and so they recognized that. You have people singing, the exercise, the dancing, and those who were able to verbalize this. We need more of this. I enjoyed myself because they got up, they got dressed. I mean, they were all dressed beautifully, because they were having a night out. And I think more socialization. Don't hide your person.
Yeah.
Bring them out. Let them see. Go for drives on Saturdays. Another thing I'd like to say is for caregivers, you have maybe the one daughter who's looking after mama who has Alzheimer's. There are 5 or 6 other siblings. Give that one daughter an opportunity to just get out, so help. Don't leave it because it is a burden.
Right.
It really is a burden. You know ifs, and but yes, that's my mother. And you'd say, well, my mother is not a burden. But it wears on you when you have all of that responsibility.
And sons and brothers.
Sons and brothers.
Don't just put it on
definitely.
sisters and your spouses and your wives, right?
right.
Make it a family experience as opposed to a chore or a task. Also, I would say to people in terms of breaking down the stigma, engaging and acknowledging in the early stages allows you to do things like create a living will.
Amen.
Right? You can create a trust and have greater control over how your money is spent while you are progressing. And after
And how
you
you're
may
cared for.
Right, and how you cared for. Or, you could put in your trust. There must be $500 available every month for my cup and baggie and salty, right? And my fritter.
Thank you.
And I would like to get it every weekend.
And I want to go for it.
Right, I would like to go on the ride to go get it. Right, and so then you know that when the grandson says, "But listen, I'll take Grammy." It's what's in the living will. I'll do it. Enable me to do it. And you find that when there's more clarity and certainty, people will engage. Okay, so details about the memory walk, and then I found an interesting article I want to reference before we go. So memory walk is this Saturday, the 28th. Start point?
By Arawaki.
Arawaki start point, end point, Rawson's.
We go back.
down.
We go walk. Just take that short walk to Arawaki. And that's more for the awareness. That's what it's all about. And also to keep moving, because that's part of it as well.
The physical
exercise, right. And so we want the community, we want people to know, it's the stigma, break that down. We need to have that better attitude toward dementia. So this is to let people know, doing that short walk, Arawaki, 8 o'clock, come out. We don't have any more T-shirts left, but that's okay. You can wear anything purple.
Y'all ain't bring my sea grape T-shirt.
Ain't that something? But anyhow.
I just tell me you forget. I'll be okay. I ain't gonna fuss.
No, yeah. Anyway, and come out. We did that because we want you to come out there on Saturday morning. That's why. So when you come out on Saturday morning, I'll
get my T-shirt.
Yeah,
Okay.
There's a method to this, Martin.
Just I may forget to come to the Chichani run. I may be with. I can get there. I will get there. Okay,
so we hope to see you all there. Yes.
Absolutely. Now, here is the contact information.
Okay.
How do I get in contact with Bahamas Alzheimer's Association?
We have our phone number, which is 535-4260, 535-4260. Or you can send the email at Bahamas ALZ242. That's BAHAMAS ALZ 242, all one word, at gmail.com. We also have our Facebook page, and we also have Instagram. So you can find us there as well, Bahamas Alzheimer's Association.
All right. And I like the memory walk because we always have to remember that elderly people are equal members of society.
Yeah. Definitely.
They walk.
Yes.
They don't drive. They have the same access to the road that we all do. Sidewalks. keeping them clear of vehicles is so important because elderly members of our society are using sidewalks. I had an unfortunate incident in front of a bank on East Bay Street opposite Bamsey, where as I was walking on the sidewalk, a small van decided that they were going to slide the van on the sidewalk to park in front of me as I was walking without a horn, without a signal. And this is after witnessing a pedestrian trying to cross between from one side of the road to the other, get knocked down. And the gentleman carried on like I was the fool for being upset.
Because he taken up the sidewalk.
Yeah. But where I supposed to park my car, I said, sir, have you heard about a parking lot?
There you go.
I said
And they might have to walk a little bit further, which would be good for them.
Right.
That'll help the exercise.
So I said to security,
But they won't walk that
I said to
far.
security officer, this doesn't represent a security risk then. Vehicles parking on the sidewalk, blocking your view of the road. Anyway, the whole point is that poor people and elderly people
Still use the
and
road.
people with dementia or Alzheimer's may be using the road and may not be as cognizant as others of what's going on around them. And they should be able to trust that being on a sidewalk will keep them safe. Okay, now to our article. And I think this is perhaps a very important point for the Bahamas. Exploring insulin resistance in Alzheimer's disease and type 2 diabetes. Dr. Teresa S. Clark, a physician scientist.
And she's part of the association as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And she does quite a bit of screening. She's back and forth from the States, but she does a lot of screening for us.
All right, so for people who are interested in identifying opportunities for screening, call the Bahamas Alzheimer's Association. One of the people they may refer you to is Dr. Teresa Clark. And type 2 diabetes, Clark said, is a condition marked by elevated blood sugar and insulin resistance that shows some alarming similarities to Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's disease is the most common cause of late onset dementia. The neurodegenerative disorder affects around 34 million people worldwide. And Clark said some researchers have dubbed Alzheimer's type 3 diabetes. So I want to say in particular to young people. You say to yourself, I could work that sugar out of my body. But the truth is you don't know what impact or effect the sugar is having while it is in your body. You may be able to flush it out. You may be like some people who they binge and then they fast, right? They binge, I drink beer, I drink rum, and then for half of the month, I'm clean. I fast and then I'm green. But while you're binging, that could have a detrimental impact on your body. Ladies, we're all out of time. Thank you for now listening.
Just want to say
you.
thank you,
Thank
to
you.
our sponsors, especially people like Kalina, Maxine, hi there.
Oh, no. So my producer say,
We can still
we're
talk?
going to the break. Y'all can talk a little
okay,
bit
let me
longer.
come back then, yeah.
Yeah, I think he recognized y'all sharing sea grape. We'll be right back. You're on the clock, and we're talking to the Bahamas Alzheimer's Association. We'll share more details about Alzheimer's Month when we get back from the break.
There we go.
Jump in your Japanese import and you turn the radio on. All you hear is...
que le habían otorgado la Cámara de Diputados.
For the month of September, the Hit Spot will install a band extender in your Japanese import for the discounted rate of only $79.99, VAT included. Get your band expander installed today at the Hit Spot and listen to
Star 106.5.
Plus get fresh news and smart talk on
Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Love the show? Want to give your support? Become a sponsor today. Call 302-2300 for our rates and packages. That's 302-2300. Become a sponsor on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
The Grand Bahama News is available every Tuesday in the Nassau Guardian. You can buy your local paper at Freeport Convenience Stores, Western Bakery, De Gregory's Fine Foods, and Bellevue Gifts. Now is the time to reach your Grand Bahama market with affordable packages, including print and digital. Call GB News sales representative Kavandre at 822-6717 or message him on WhatsApp for ad rates. Classified ads are now available every Tuesday as well. Keep up with everything Grand Bahamian every Tuesday in the Nassau Guardian.
Are you tired of the same old 5K runs? Want something more? Then get ready for the Chick Charney Challenge City Run on September 28th, starting at Crypto Wild. Test your strength, stamina, and spirit. It takes all of you to dodge, climb, conquer obstacles as you race through the heart of the city. Lace up and get to the Chick Charney Challenge City Run. Register now on our website, chickcharneychurn.com, or on our social media pages. Brought to you by Colina, Island Yogurt, Advantage Insurance, Art of Graphics, Crypto Wild, and Guardian Radio 96.9.
Good morning and welcome back to On the Clock with Erin, Greene. We are wrapping up our conversation with the Bahamas Alzheimer's Association, and now we're going to highlight and acknowledge the sponsors and partners for this year's Alzheimer's Awareness Month.
And we're so happy to have so many great partners with us for this month. We started off with the Caregiver Seminar, and we had the Rotary Club of South Ocean, Ms. Bullitt, who is the president there, and the former president, Kathy Smith, who is also a part of our association. They have now, this is the second year we've partnered with them, and they did a wonderful job. We had an excellent time there with the caregivers. And then we also had at the Purple Party again. We had at St. Agnes, and also the other one was at Ebenezer. So we thank them. Mm-hmm. We had the candlelight vigil on Saturday gone, and that was with Paulette was in charge of that. So she could tell you a little bit.
Okay.
And I'm happy to say that most of everything that we did for that evening, it was a fulfilling evening. We were able to acknowledge those persons that we were supporting and those persons that had passed. But we had several people that came and helped us. Expression Scent provided sound system for us. Echo Water sent water for us. Hope Shelly Ann, I don't know if I can say that.
No, you can say that.
Hope Shelly Ann came out and helped us.
We loving up people who loving up people.
They just really came out and supported us. So we
this is awesome.
For that. But earlier in the days,
Antiquities
and Monuments gave us the space at 66 Steps. And earlier that day, Fusion actually sponsored us and held a movie, which I'm trying to encourage them to do more often for elderly people, but they included Alzheimer's people. Mm-hmm. And they invited us to come free of charge, which was a fantastic time for elderly people and their caregivers and family members to come out.
Tell them you want to see a response from the crowd. Tell them play Smokey and the Bandit.
Okay, that's
right. I know some people, right? Like they just perk right up when they see that.
Okay, Smokey and the Bandit.
But I just found it at the time of Smokey and the Bandit. I realized that a lot of Bahamians they love that movie and the sort of that culture, Smokey and the Bandit and the chase and thing. Okay. Yeah, I know plenty of people that say, "Whoa, I remember that." Okay,
we also have PAHO that we are partnering with as well because the. Bahamas Alzheimer's Association is a part of Alzheimer's Disease International, which is an arm of the WHO, and PAHO is, of course, is part of that, the World Health Organization. So we're glad to have them. And then Bahamas Medical and Surgical. We also have, like I said before, Social Services, who Dalbenas always been a good partner with us, and of course our major sponsor is Colina, and so we appreciate them too.
Can I also mention there are a few companies that they lit their buildings up in purple.
Okay.
Atlantis did theirs. Doctors Hospital, Graycliff. And it's what I think it's showing too is the awareness is coming through, and the community is saying, "I am going to be a part of this." So it was
and so many beautiful ideas. Look at how we're going to begin the research, and we're going to partner with the Hotel Training Institute at UB. food and memory, right? And then we're going to get some of our chefs. There's going to be a double whammy because we're going to preserve food culture, right? And then we're going to provide an experience for people experiencing Alzheimer's disease to experience memory through food, right? So we need to buy them. I meet Mr. Brentford Hall, Simeon Hall Jr., master of the rock oven, to gather up the man's dem when you always having the man's dem only session and bring the old-fashioned baked bread, right? But also those types of activities where like you bring all the older men together, right? And you have a men's day and you take out older men and you all gallivant and do some of the things they would have done when they were younger.
Bring them out on Saturday to come to the memory walk, and they can walk for us as well and show their support and bring awareness, because again, our theme for this year is attitudes toward dementia. It's time to act against Alzheimer's. Time to act against dementia.
Absolutely. I have a text here to end the show. Says, my mom, Helen Roll, has been suffering from Alzheimer's for 3 years, and she lives at Pat's Seniors Home in Nassau because we can't afford to care for her at home. Is the Bahamas Alzheimer's Association or any affiliate groups visiting facilities like this to help patients suffering from this disease?
Not physically visiting per se, but we do assist sometimes, and we have actually coming up at the end of this year, we have our Hope Drive, and where we gather, we have the in-gathering, if you want to call it that, in-gathering of supplies that persons who might not be able to afford it, like the adult undergarments, the creams, the wipes, those types of things, and we try to do that for the Hope Drive. And then in the new year, January, February, that is when we distribute, and we would usually give to homes like Pat's, and we give to some of the, like Naomi Christie, those are the types of homes as well. And we also assist with Hands for Hunger, because we know if persons are not able to get food, they're certainly not going to be able to provide the undergarments for their elderly parents.
Absolutely.
Or their patients. And so we also give to them as well.
Right. We try to help to balance the cost by providing things we can provide so you could divert resources where they need to go.
Thank you. Yes.
I was just going to say that's actually a good idea for us to take some time to go to the homes and to visit with those persons.
And just to close, at the beginning I was going to ask, is the association an advocacy group, an activist group, a support group, a charitable initiative?
All of the above.
Absolutely. And so I recommend, and I was going to say, my cousin, Helen Roll's daughter, right, reach out to the Bahamas Alzheimer's Association at 535-4260 or Bahamas ALZ242 at gmail.com. Also reach out to Civil Society Bahamas, and I think it would be maybe Ministry of Social Services to determine if there are any advocacy or activist groups already doing similar work, and perhaps you can find a space to create an organization that, with the support of the Bahamas Alzheimer's Association, you can conduct regular visits to homes to conduct activities, to provide support, even to...
That's one of our goals, of course, as well, is to have what we call a respite, at least my goal, to have a respite center where we can have an area where persons, especially who are caregivers, you just need to take that break and you can come and have a place. And also with those persons who have Alzheimer's and dementia, that they too can go and have a area where they can meet with other persons who have Alzheimer's and dementia and not feel as though that stigma is there attached to them. You know, you might be saying some things, you might be doing things, oh, I forget, or you do. But other persons are there, yeah, well, I'm in the same situation too. So especially those persons who are in the early stages. And also an area where they can come and feel free to, you know.
Because people who are providing care, most times the care is almost 24/7 because care is required 24/7.
Exactly.
Care workers and family members need a place where they could vent and cuss and nobody says, oh you're a bad professional.
Yeah.
Because you could say, man, look here, Miss Greene, boy, Miss Greene, she funny and she sharp, but if you try touch her Coca-Cola soda, she could cuss you.
Okay.
You allowed
so if
to say that.
anybody who is feeling generous and who has a space, you might not be using it, and you want to let us have that space, we will gladly appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. And I want to encourage everyone out there to seek support. If you think that you are living with Alzheimer's disease or living with someone who is experiencing Alzheimer's disease, and if your good cousin Mabel from down the road, where every day you know everything is okay because you could hear her cussing at 12 o'clock and you hear her stop cussing, go check on cousin Mabel.
Amen.
And make sure she remember who she is.
That's right.
Ladies.
Be our brothers and sisters keeper.
Yes,
That's
ma'am.
right.
And our mommy and daddies.
Yes.
Keepers as well. Miss Poitier Albury and Miss Poitier and Miss Davis, I'd like to thank you for joining me today. And it's just one thing I need you to do. Forget where y'all get that sea grape lemonade from. Don't
It was wonderful.
tell nobody. And Deep Science Venture, we come in for that PhD in Alzheimer's research in Bahamian local flora and fauna.
There you go.
Producer, if you get time, let's go to. We are all out of time. Well, ladies,
Thank you.
give me this last 5 minutes to talk some politics without y'all.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Guys, we're going to run straight into this story. I want to put it on the record today. This is a follow-up to a story I wanted to touch on earlier in the week, but I didn't get to. It is in today's Tribune, outrage over appalling outcome in elderly woman's rape trial. A 9-year prison sentence for a man who pleaded guilty to multiple violent crimes, including the rape of an elderly woman, sparked outrage from female Free National Movement members yesterday, with Senator Michaela Barnett Ellis calling the outcome appalling. However, National Security Minister Wayne Monroe noted that sexual offenses often have high acquittal rates, implying that the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions may have considered several factors and found the plea arrangement acceptable. Joel Strawn, 22, pleaded guilty to rape, housebreaking, 4 counts of armed robbery and assault with intent to rape as part of a plea deal, according to the Nassau Guardian. He raped an 83-year-old woman in June after breaking into her home in Baintown, committing both anal and vaginal assault. I don't know in this article if they are spelling, because he raped an 83-year-old woman, but why was it just anal and vaginal assault? Wasn't it anal and vaginal rape? His sentences of 9, 7, 6, and 2 years in prison will be served concurrently. Is it that y'all don't know how to spell consecutively? Not the newspaper, because obviously it's not y'all I'm talking about. Again, his sentences of 9, 7, 6, and 2 years in prison will be served concurrently. So he could have spent 9 and 7 is 16, and 6 is 22, and 2 is 24. He could have spent 24 years in prison because he was sentenced to 24 years in prison, but someone decided he should serve it concurrently. Senator Barnett Ellis said the sentencing represents an affront to the victims and a failure of the justice system to protect women and hold violent offenders accountable. One last quote and I'm gone, producer. Quote, the brutal assault of an elderly woman in addition to other acts of violence demands the harshest penalties under the law, close quotes, she said in a statement. That is Michaela Barnett, FNM Senator. We will pick these stories up shortly. Thank you for joining me today on the Clock with Erin Greene. Guardian Radio AM with C.A. Nuri is up next.